What you're doing and walking around.
Ben, come here. Come here. Okay, have you got a box that I can stand on? Don't worry.
Unfortunately, no.
This week, we've had the pleasure of meeting one of Agri-Business's innovation experts, Paul Towns of Harby Agriculture. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's video blog from Max McGillivray of Redfox. I'm having to stand up because, Paul, how tall are you?
6'3", Max.
6'3". So that's
6'3".
So compared to my 6'2".
You're 4'2", yes.
And we've got on the theme that we did with William Burgess of having an innovative mic. Today we've got this lovely. Tell us, Paul, what that is.
Oh, that's a very old-fashioned moisture meter, about 100 years old.
Okay, so we're going to use that as the mic today. Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
So we are grain merchants in the East Midlands. We have a grain merchanting and processing business. We have a agricultural waste plastics business and a micronutrient business.
Okay, so that's your part-time job. What's your full-time job?
And I'm also a priest in the Church of England, serving 7 parishes north of Melton Mowbray.
Okay, and when did you get ordained?
I was ordained priest this year in June.
Okay, and does that actually help you in business, having that understanding on a theology basis as to how to orchestrate, how to run a business, how to deal with customers, how to deal with farmers?
Well, it certainly gives me a different window on business and on people and how we can be ethical and moral in the way we trade. That's what we try and do anyway.
Okay, and agriculture. So we had this conversation recently that, in my view, agriculture is a commodity sector and there's no way to add any more value, any more innovation, because it's just buckets of wheat going up and down. How do you add value? How do you add profit? It's very difficult. It's a commodity sector.
Yeah, I think historically, Max, if you go back 30, 40 years, there were good margins to be made out of just buying and selling and trading grains. The margins just completely disappeared with catastrophic effects to 1 or 2 companies over the last 2 or 3 years. So I think we've got to be innovative and we've got to think about what we're doing. So our business, for instance, you can see here, we've invested in facilities that are adding value to grains. And the way to do that is to go and see your customer and say, what can we do for you? How can we send you better grains at exactly the quality that you want?
Okay, and who would those customers be? Just for the unenlightened.
Well, for us, I mean, we're a small company, so we're servicing the pet food market and looking for niches.
Okay.
But it is possible to just go and ask your customer, even if your customer is an international miller. Maybe he's saying, I want all my milling wheat guaranteed at a certain protein and this sort of thing. There are now machines available. There's the technology with the digital age to be able to provide what the customer wants.
Okay, and what about the farmer? Where's the farmer? Is he your customer as well?
Well, yes, we have customers both sides, really. We have to keep the farmers happy and we have to keep the millers happy. But we're working with farmers to try and give them some idea of what to grow so that they're growing the right grains at the right time, at the right quality for the final customers.
And do you think the farmers get that? Because in my experience, some farmers might be a little bit myopic. They don't have an understanding what goes on beyond the farm gate. Is it quite a challenge to educate them to grow for a different market such as this?
Yeah, I think a lot of farmers at the minute, and certainly any farmer over 40, has farmed in an environment where subsidies were brought in, and so whatever they grew, there was a guaranteed price. If you go back just a few years, the market's changing, and with Brexit, we're going to have to be much more market focused and growing exactly what the consumer wants.
Okay.
And we're helping farmers with that. And there's a new generation who are on message and realise they've got to use their assets to the best of their ability to produce food that people want at the quality that they want at the time that they want.
Okay, so was this set up here in this form 5 years ago?
No, so 5 years ago all we were doing...
So where's this going to be in 5 years' time?
Where's it going in 5 years? We're going to be investing in more equipment and producing and getting ready for dispatch when the customer wants it, goods of sorts of qualities, all sorts of qualities. So to give you some example, we're now heat treating grains for the rat bait market, up to 100 degrees to kill the germination because they want the germination killed. We can denature the protein on protein crops. We're rolling grains for the animal food industry. We're cooking linseed, a whole range of different activities where we add value.
Okay, so that's the future in this sector, to add value, get niche, add value.
Yeah, where you can, but I think eventually we'll see a massive change in logistics and in our buyers' requirements. So to give you an example, the two major oat buyers in England are throwing away 30% of all of their oats at the minute at point of arrival when they clean them. Why could we not produce an oat groat that goes straight to the oat consumer at the quality he wants? We can do that, farmers and us together, by asking the customer what he wants and investing in the right technology.
Understood. And just tell us about your three businesses.
So we've got Paul Towns Agriculture, which is an agricultural trading and processing firm. Okay, and that's what you can see here. That's what these machines do here all day long, and we're adding value and sending goods on to the consumer. And they could be flour millers, they could be pet food consumers, they could be maltsters, they could be all manner of consumers of grain. We've then got Harby Agriculture. So my colleague Helen runs Harby Agriculture. It's a plastics, a specialist agricultural waste plastics business. And that's really big news because we found that the recycling industry hasn't truly been recycling in the UK.
Yep.
It's actually been exported worldwide. So we're now working with people who are investing in true recycling plants to make sure agricultural plastics are recycled. And we've got 1,200 farms in the UK where we are responsible for recycling their plastics.
Wow. Okay.
Lastly, we're looking at micronutrients. So we have our own brand of micronutrients called Cropwell, where we manufacture solid and liquid formulations of micronutrients for farmers to apply to crops. This improves plant health, and we're trying to sort of push through that yield plateau. It's been static now, Max, for 10, 15 years, the yields of wheat and barley on UK farms. We want to improve plant health, facilitate better rooting, and healthier plants, of course, will require lower levels of fungicide and insecticide and so forth. So, and yet again, a new generation of farmers are working with us to develop these products. We don't really know exactly where we're going in the minute, but we're working with farmers and researchers and manufacturers to make sure that we get the right products to improve plant growth and give a greater potential yield.
Excellent. So you now run three hugely innovative businesses. Why do you think people should come into farming?
Interestingly, the sort of people that are coming into farming now are sort of often coming from outside.
Yeah.
They should come into farming because this is a huge sea change. We've got Brexit just around the corner. We've got public attitudes about plastic packaging, about nutrition. We've got the NHS talking about obesity and this sort of thing. So food is a big thing. We all need to eat, Max. It's an innovative sector. It's in a massive point of change, and we haven't got enough people in the industry at the minute. There are a lot of farmers' sons and daughters not particularly interested in coming into the business. We've got innovative people who, actually, if you come from outside farming, you could sometimes be our greatest asset because you're not myopic. You haven't been conditioned by a college or your father or mother in business, in a farming business, to only look one way. We need people who look at the world in a totally new way.
Yeah. Well done. So I was here 5 years ago and it was a commodity business. I'm here today, it's a value-added business. I'm going to be fascinated to be here in 5 years' time and see how you've then morphed it, where the market's then taken you. Paul, thank you very much for your time, and we'll catch up very shortly.
Thanks, Max.
How was that?
Just flowed, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm still too short.